Why do I choose the wrong partners? If you've ever found yourself asking that question, you will know how exhausting it is. It's thoroughly draining, and you've also likely asked yourself the question, what's wrong with me? However, I want to highlight today that there are certain points about why you might be choosing the wrong partners, and it's not just a case of bad luck, it's probably some deeper rooted issues that we can discuss today that will help you choose differently, and it's most certainly not because you are unworthy of love. And if we deal with these issues, then we can help ourselves heal in the right direction towards finding love and light, even just for ourselves, but hopefully with our perfect match. So the first point that I really wanted to speak about was comfort of the familiar. Now this stems into childhood and just generally like everything that we have grown to know. Sometimes we can be scared to accept something new, especially when we come from a chaotic childhood, because that is something that is alien territory for us. If inconsistency, emotional unavailability, and chaos were consistent themes in your past, you may be unknowingly seeking them out purely because they are familiar, even if it hurts you. Our subconscious pulls us into what we recognize, even if it is chaotic and painful. So it's really important that you analyze what's going on in your history to release anything that doesn't serve you so that you can move forward into your present and future. The key take home is just because something is familiar does not mean it's healthy for you. And I remember releasing kind of habits that I got into of people pleasing because growing up it was so chaotic, and I can talk about my life in a separate video, but I sort of realised that there were certain habits that I'd formulated that were actually really unhealthy, that allowed me to essentially be walked over, and that meant that in relationships I would be attracting partners that felt the ability to walk over me. The next point is mistaking intensity for love. Have you ever felt that immediate spark, that wow, the fireworks, the it was meant to be, it was love at first sight? Now, sometimes that could be real, but the rest of the time, that is your body's fight or flight response coming into the equation, being like, this is something not good, ding, 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 ding. And we're sold this story about butterflies and this love at first sight. And so we get a little bit disorientated with this belief, and we confuse what is our body warning us with this passion and chemistry and love. And it is very, very painful when it is not the happy love at first sight story that we dream of. The key take home is that dramatic highs and lows may feel passionate and remind us of these love stories that were sold growing up, but true love feels safe, and that also could mean it feels boring. There's a difference between butterflies and anxiety. One excites you, the other one is warning you. And so I'm not saying settle for something that is completely snoozeville and it just simply is not you, because you don't want to be settling for something that doesn't tick your boxes and make you feel good. But that being said, you shouldn't be settling for something that is triggering your anxiety left, right, and centre. The role of self-worth is so important. We accept what we believe we deserve. If you believe that you deserve something really good, you're not going to settle for something that is anything but that. So when we are settling for something lesser, it could be an indication of the fact we don't think we deserve better. I definitely thought I had great standards in my head. I knew what I wanted my future husband to look like. However, I didn't address the fact that deep down inside there were feelings that I did not feel good enough, and because I hadn't addressed them, or I just really didn't know about them, I really thought I had healed everything that needed to be healed, and I had no idea that I had these deep down beliefs that I was not good enough, and they were highlighted in a very toxic relationship. But it also showed to me that I needed to work on those beliefs. So if you have been in a toxic relationship in the past, that doesn't mean that you're doomed for failure. You could look at it positively and go, okay, what is this teaching me? And what can I learn from this? And for me, meant that I could evaluate history and go, okay, what about me and my beliefs allowed me to accept behaviour like that, so that moving forward, I would never again tolerate something like that. Healing starts when you know that you don't need to prove your value to someone. Moreover, realizing you deserve love without conditions. Now, I'm not saying become a really self centered individual that thinks the whole world revolves around them. Of course, love is a two-way street. But that being said, it should not be you giving 100% or majority and someone giving essentially nothing. It needs to be a nice, healthy balance. Obviously, being aware is the first step, but taking action is very important too. So, breaking the cycle. What can you do to help this? Firstly, you don't jump straight into things, you pause before you jump. Passionate attraction isn't always a green flag, sometimes it's the contrary, and it's a massive red flag. So, when you're feeling this fiery passion within, it could be your body indicating something's wrong here. We have instincts and genes within us that tell us when we should be scared of something, when something's not right. We just need to be attuned to our bodies a bit more to listen to them. Sometimes it could genuinely be that sparks flying, passionate moment that we read about in novels. However, it could also be very baseline science activating, going, no, no, don't enter this territory. We say no. And you need to have that discernment about you to realize which one it is. That's why pausing before you jump in allows you that space to really feel and connect with yourself, to be aware of what is happening. Whilst it's great to love other people, it's so important to work on your self-worth. When you evaluate and improve your self-worth and get it to where you want it to be, you are less likely to settle for anything but what you deserve. And for myself, I have been in a very toxic relationship, learned this, and I've had opportunities to get into relationships with guys that far exceed my exes. They are essentially so many amazing things. However, I realise they don't tick my boxes and don't fully align with my values. Therefore, even though they are far greater options than my past partners, that does not mean that I'm going to settle for anything less than I deserve. And one of the most important things are redesign and reevaluate what love truly means to you. It shouldn't just be what indoctrination has given you. It shouldn't be these passionate moments that you were sold on TV screens growing up. It should be everything that truly matters to you. Sit down and evaluate your non-negotiables. What matters to you in your life? If it's the fact that you wake up at 7 a.m. to go on a run, you need someone that's either going to be okay with that or someone that's going to go out and do it with you. But that's a very baseline example. Everyone's love journey, their love languages are very individual to them. So it's highly important that you sit down and evaluate what is so important to you. Have your standards and your non-negotiables and don't waver on them. Falling for the wrong people does not mean that you are broken. And I really want that to be eliminated, because I think a lot of people who have gone through toxicity do blame themselves and get a little bit upset with themselves for even accepting something like that in the first place. However, it does not mean you're broken. It just means there are parts of you that need nurturing and healing. When you do that work, everything changes. Have you ever realised that you were repeating a toxic pattern or tolerating something that you shouldn't have? And if you break free, how did you do it? Let's support each other in the comments. Remember, kindness and courtesy is always appreciated.